quiet now. Settle into the stillness. Tonight, we are leaving the world of the sun behind. We are beginning a slow vertical descent into the largest habitat on our planet, a place that covers 70% of the Earth's surface, yet remains more mysterious than the craters of Mars. Imagine you are a single drop of water falling away from the sparkling surface of the tropical sea. As you sink, the light begins to change. The warm gold turns to a pale, ghostly turquoise, then a deep, bruised indigo, and finally, at a depth of 1,000 meters, the light simply vanishes. You have entered the midnight zone. Beneath you lies 6 miles of liquid darkness. In this realm, the pressure is enough to crush a titanium submarine like a soda can. There is no wind here. There are no seasons. There is only the eternal freezing cold and the silent drifting snow of the deep. Welcome back to the observatory. I am the sleepy professor. Tonight, we are exploring the deep ocean ecosystems, the aliens that live beneath our feet. As we drift deeper, feel the pressure of the day lifting off your shoulders, replaced by the soft, supportive weight of the deep. At 2,000 meters down, we are in the bathypelagic zone. If you were to turn on a flashlight here, you wouldn't see a void. You would see marine snow. These are tiny white flakes, bits of organic matter, ancient plankton, and fragments of things that once lived in the sun, slowly drifting down toward the floor. It takes weeks for a single flake to reach the bottom. This is the bread and butter of the abyss. It is a slow-motion rain of nutrients, a gift from the world above to the world below. Before we sink any further into the trenches, I'd love it if you gave the video a little like. It helps our quiet community of deep-sea wanderers grow. And if you're feeling curious before the sleep takes hold, tell me in the comments, what is the most mysterious creature you've ever heard of from the deep? It's a joy to read your thoughts while the world stays still. Let's talk about the weight. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the water pushes down on every square inch of your body with the weight of an African elephant. To survive here, life had to abandon the very idea of a skeleton as we know it. The creatures here aren't made of hard bone and air-filled lungs. If they were, they would shatter instantly. Instead, they are made of water. Their cells are filled with special fats and proteins that act like liquid armor, pushing back against the ocean with equal force. They don't feel the pressure any more than you feel the weight of the atmosphere on your skin. They are perfectly balanced, soft-bodied ghosts, dancing in a world where gravity and water have become one and the same. Take a deep breath. Imagine that balance. You are supported. You are weightless. You are sinking into the blue. Now let your eyes close and imagine the darkest room you've ever been in, a place where you cannot see your own hand in front of your face. This is the bathypelagic zone. But in this darkness, there are stars. In the deep ocean, 90% of the creatures have forgotten what the sun looks like, but they have learned to create their own fire. This is bioluminescence. It is a cold chemical light born from a reaction between a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase. As you drift through the water, you might see a sudden electric blue flash. That is a shrimp releasing a cloud of glowing chemicals to blind a predator. Or perhaps you see a rhythmic, pulsing red light, the stoplight loosejaw fish, using a color that almost no other deep-sea creature can see. They are hunting with invisible flashlights. It is a world of neon ghosts, a silent fireworks show that has been performing every night for millions of years, miles beneath the waves. Perhaps the most famous resident of this dark cathedral is the anglerfish. She is a master of patience. She does not swim after her prey. The pressure is too high, and the energy is too precious for a chase. Instead, she carries a fishing rod on her forehead. At the tip of this rod is a glowing bulb filled with millions of symbiotic bacteria that shine with a steady, haunting light. To a small, hungry fish in the void, that light looks like a scrap of food, a tiny glimmer of hope. But as the fish swims closer, it realizes too late that the light is attached to a mouth full of needle-like teeth. The anglerfish is a reminder of the deep sea's primary rule: conserve everything. Every movement must be calculated. Every meal is a miracle. Her bones are thin, her muscles are soft, and her stomach is expandable, capable of holding a fish twice her own size. She is a vessel of survival, waiting in the blackness for a guest that may only arrive once a month. And then there is the creature with perhaps the most dramatic name in all of biology, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, the vampire squid from hell. But don't let the name frighten you. Despite its red eyes and cloak-like webbing, it is one of the most gentle residents of the abyss. It doesn't hunt at all. It is a detritivore. It spends its life drifting, using two long, sticky filaments to catch the marine snow we spoke of earlier. It reels in the flakes of organic dust, cleans them off, and eats. When it is threatened, it doesn't ink like a shallow water squid. Ink is useless in the dark. Instead, it turns itself inside out, showing a row of soft spines, and flashes glowing spots on its fins to confuse the attacker. It is a living relic, a vampire that feeds on dust and glows like a galaxy. It is perfectly adapted to the low oxygen minimum zone, living where almost nothing else can breathe. As you listen, feel your own breath slowing down. You don't need much energy here, just the steady rhythmic pulse of the deep. You are floating. You are safe. You are part of the indigo dark. We have reached 4,000 meters. The temperature has settled into a steady, bone-chilling 2 degrees Celsius. If you were to stand on the floor here, you would find yourself on a vast, silken prairie of mud. This mud is composed of ooze, a scientific term for the remains of trillions of microscopic creatures that have fallen from the surface over millions of years. It is soft, thick, and incredibly quiet. There are no forests here. There are no meadows. But if you look closely at the silt, you'll see the tracks of the sea cucumber. These are the herdsmen of the abyss. They move in slow, deliberate lines, vacuuming up the mud and extracting the tiny morsels of energy hidden within. They are often translucent, their bodies as fragile as a breath of steam. They do not hurry. In a world where a single meal might have to last a month, speed is a luxury they cannot afford. Everything is a long, slow-motion crawl through the dust of time. But sometimes the marine snow we spoke of isn't a flake. Sometimes it is a giant. When a great whale dies in the upper ocean, its body eventually begins a long, lonely descent. It falls through the twilight, past the midnight zone, and finally lands on the barren abyssal plain. To the starving creatures of the deep, this is not a tragedy, it is a miracle. It is a fallen city of food. Within hours, the scent of the whale travels for miles through the still water. Hagfish and sleeper sharks arrive first, tearing away the soft tissue. But the most beautiful part of the story happens months later. Once the flesh is gone, a strange, red-feathered worm takes over, Osadax, the bone-eating worm. These creatures have no mouths and no stomachs. They use roots filled with bacteria to dissolve the very bones of the whale, turning the skeleton into a garden of crimson plumes. A single whale can feed an entire ecosystem for 50 years. It is a legacy of life born from the silence of the fall. Think of the patience required to live down here. You are a small crustacean, perhaps no bigger than a fingernail, waiting in the dark for a gift from a world you will never see. You feel the vibrations of a distant fall, and you begin your journey. There is no competition here in the way we understand it. There is only a communal feast. The deep sea doesn't waste. It recycles every atom, every molecule, until even the bones are gone, dissolved back into the salt of the earth. It is a perfect circle of life, occurring in total, pressurized darkness. As you settle deeper into your pillows, imagine that patience, the ability to wait, to breathe, and to trust that the universe will provide exactly what you need, exactly when it falls. You are drifting. You are sinking. You are at peace on the plain. Imagine you are drifting through the absolute dark, miles below the waves, when suddenly a tower of stone rises out of the silt. It is a chimney 3 stories tall, belching out thick black clouds that look like smoke. But this isn't fire, it is water. Seawater has seeped down into the cracks of the Earth's crust, where it was heated by molten magma to over 400 degrees Celsius. It is hot enough to melt lead, yet it does not boil because the crushing pressure of the ocean holds it in a liquid state. As this superheated soup of minerals, sulfur, iron, and copper hits the freezing seawater, the minerals solidify instantly, building these Gothic, crumbling towers. We call them hydrothermal vents. They are the hearths of the abyss, the only places on Earth where life does not ask the sun for permission to exist. Around these vents, the rules of biology are rewritten. On the surface, every green leaf and blade of grass is a solar panel, catching light to create sugar. But here, there is no light. Instead, there is chemosynthesis. Tiny, specialized bacteria live inside the rocks and the bodies of the creatures here. They eat the toxic hydrogen sulfide pouring out of the vents, a chemical that would kill you or me instantly, and turn it into energy. It is a garden built on poison. Here you will find the giant tube worms. They have no mouth, no eyes, and no stomachs. They are simply long white cylinders topped with brilliant crimson plumes. They don't need to eat. They simply host trillions of bacteria in their tissues, trading a home for a constant supply of food. They sway in the shimmering heat like tall alien grass in a volcanic wind. Among the tube worms, you will see the yeti crab. It is white, blind, and covered in thick, silky hair that looks like fur. But it isn't fur. It is a farm. The crab grows its own bacteria on its arms, waving them through the mineral-rich water to fertilize its crop before scraping it off for a meal. There is a profound stillness here, despite the roaring heat of the vents. Everything is in a delicate balance. If the vent stops flowing, the colony dies. If the water gets too hot, they cook. They live on a knife's edge between the freezing void and the molten core. As you sink deeper into your own rest, think of that warmth, a hidden fire in the dark, providing for a world that the rest of the planet has forgotten. You are safe. You are warm. You are drifting toward the deepest trenches of all. We are now leaving the abyssal plain behind. The floor beneath us begins to drop away into a steep, jagged canyon. We are entering the Hadal zone, named after Hades, the king of the underworld. This is the realm of the trenches, the Mariana, the Kermadec, the Philippine. These are the deepest scars on the face of our planet. If you were to drop Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench, the peak would still be over a mile underwater. Down here, at 11,000 meters, the pressure is 8 tons per square inch. It is like having a fleet of jumbo jets parked on your chest. And yet, even here, in the ultimate cellar of the world, something is moving. Meet the Mariana snailfish. It doesn't look like a monster. It is small, pinkish white, and almost translucent. You can see its tiny brain through its skull. It looks as fragile as a piece of wet tissue paper. But this little fish is a miracle of engineering. Its body is filled with a special molecule called TMAO, which prevents its proteins from being crushed out of shape by the pressure. Its bones are not made of hard calcium, which would shatter like glass. They are made of flexible cartilage. It swims with a slow, ghostly grace through the deepest water on Earth, a tiny flicker of life in a place where physics says life shouldn't be possible. It is the champion of the trenches, proving that there is nowhere so dark or so heavy that life cannot find a way to breathe. At this depth, the silence is absolute. Sound travels faster in water than in air, but down here there are no boats, no whales, no storms, just the occasional creak of the tectonic plates grinding against one another. The water is incredibly still. It has stayed in this trench for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years, a cold, pressurized vintage of the sea. As you reach the 50-minute mark of our descent, let that stillness fill your room. You have reached the bottom of the world. There is nowhere left to fall. You are held by the earth. You are cradled by the deep. Take a long, slow breath. The journey is only half over, and the mysteries are only beginning. In the sunlit world, being small is often an advantage. You can hide, you can move fast, you can survive on crumbs. But down here, in the freezing dark, the rules of scale are inverted. We call this abyssal gigantism. Imagine a common garden pillbug, something you might find under a damp log. Now imagine that same creature grown to the size of a house cat, armored in a thick, pale lilac shell with 14 legs and cold, reflective eyes. This is the giant isopod. In the deep, cold water, metabolism slows to a crawl. Cells grow larger and live longer. Because there are fewer predators and the temperature is a constant near freeze, these scavengers simply don't stop growing. They are the tanks of the seafloor, capable of going 4 years without a single meal, waiting with infinite stony patience for the next gift to fall from the sky.
Then there are the giant sea spiders. In the shallows, they are tiny, almost invisible. But in the deep, their legs can span nearly 3 feet across. They are so spindly, so ethereal, that they don't have enough room in their bodies for all their organs. Nature's solution is beautiful and strange. The sea spider keeps its digestive system and even its reproductive organs inside its long, jointed legs. Its heart is so weak that it doesn't pump blood in the traditional way. Instead, its guts act as a pump, squeezing life-sustaining fluids through its limbs as it walks. It moves like a slow-motion ghost across the silt, a skeleton of a creature that has traded every ounce of unnecessary weight for the ability to span the void. Every step is a deliberate, rhythmic prayer to the silence. Perhaps the most enviable trait of the deep is its relationship with time. In the heat and light of the surface, life burns fast and bright. But in the cold pressure, the candle burns with a low, eternal flame. Consider the black coral found in the deep forests of the twilight zone. Some colonies have been found to be over 4,000 years old. They were saplings under the sea when the pyramids were being built in Egypt. They have sat in the same patch of dark water, growing mere millimeters a century, watching the ages of man pass like ripples on a pond. When you live in the deep, hurry is a foreign concept. There is only the long, slow endurance. As you drift toward the second hour of our journey, let that sense of deep time settle over you. You aren't just resting for tomorrow, you are resting for the eons. If you cannot see, how do you know where the world is? The creatures of the deep do not rely on eyes. They rely on the lateral line and the sense of vibration. To a fish in the abyss, the water is not empty space. It is a solid, vibrating web. They can feel the heartbeat of a shrimp 20 yards away. They can sense the approach of a predator by the way the water molecules are displaced. They see the world as a symphony of pressure waves. Imagine yourself floating in that web. You don't need to look. You don't need to strain. You can simply feel the soft, rhythmic pulse of the ocean around you, a liquid heartbeat that tells you exactly where you are. You are never truly alone in the dark. You are connected to everything by the very water that holds you. And then there is the scent. In the stillest water on Earth, chemical signals linger for days. A single drop of oil from a decaying whale can create a trail that stretches for miles. The hagfish, a primitive, jawless wonder, follows these invisible rivers of scent through the dark. It has no true eyes, but its sense of smell is a masterpiece. It navigates the featureless plains by tasting the water, seeking out the faint, sweet signal of a meal. It is a world of chemical ghosts and invisible paths. Even in the total absence of light, the abyss is mapped, charted, and known. Every creature has its compass, and you, as you drift deeper, have yours. It is the steady rise and fall of your chest. The path to sleep is a trail you have walked 1,000 times. We think of the deep as silent, but sound travels 4 times faster in water than in air. The abyss is actually a great resonant chamber. If a glacier cracks in Antarctica, the sound can be heard by hydrophones in the deepest parts of the Pacific. The boop of a whale, the grind of a tectonic plate, the distant rumble of an underwater volcano, it all echoes through the cathedral of the deep. It is a low-frequency world, a place of bass notes and deep vibrations. As you listen to my voice, imagine it as just another low, soothing frequency traveling through the cool, dark water. You are sinking into the sound. You are becoming part of the resonance. Imagine a fish with armored scales like a knight and fins that look more like stubby, fleshy legs. For 66 million years, the world thought this creature was a ghost, a victim of the same asteroid that took the dinosaurs. But in 1938, it reappeared from the depths off the coast of Africa. This is the coelacanth. It lives in the steep volcanic caves of the Twilight Zone, drifting in the currents. It doesn't swim like a modern fish. It moves its fins in a cross-diagonal rhythm, much like a tetrapod walks on land. It is a bridge between the sea and the shore, frozen in a moment of deep time. In the silence of the deep, it has found no reason to evolve. It is perfect as it is, a slow-moving prehistoric shadow that reminds us that while the surface world burns and changes, the deep remains a sanctuary for the ancient. Higher up, in the cold shadows of the bathypelagic, moves the blunt-nosed six-gill shark. Most modern sharks have evolved 5 gill slits to be faster, more efficient hunters. But the six-gill keeps the ancient blueprints. It is a massive, sluggish predator, sometimes reaching 15 feet in length. It has emerald green eyes that glow in the dark, tuned to catch the faintest bioluminescent flicker.
It is a generalist, a scavenger, a quiet giant that has patrolled these dark waters since before the mountains on the surface were even formed. It moves with a terrifying, beautiful economy of motion. It does not rush. It knows that in the abyss, everything eventually comes to those who wait. It is the sentinel of the grave, a living link to a Paleozoic sea. Even more ancient are the glass sponges. Their skeletons are made of pure silica, the same material as glass. They weave intricate, lace-like cages that are masterpieces of structural engineering. Some of these sponges have been growing in the same spot for 11,000 years. They began their lives when the last ice age was ending and human beings were first learning to farm. They survive by pumping vast amounts of water through their glass bodies, filtering out the tiniest specks of life. They are the oldest animals on Earth, silent witnesses to the entire history of human civilization, tucked away in a place where the news of the world never arrives. Breathe in that ancient air. Feel the weight of 11,000 years of silence. You are resting in the presence of eternity. We like to think of the deep as a place beyond our reach, a fortress of water that keeps our influence at bay. But even here, the human shadow has fallen. In the deepest parts of the Mariana Trench, researchers have found something that shouldn't be there: a plastic bag, a candy wrapper. Microplastics have been found inside the bellies of the tiny amphipods that live 7 miles down. It is a sobering thought that our waste can travel further and deeper than our own bodies can. But even in this, the ocean shows its resilience. The deep sea is a massive carbon sink, absorbing the heat and the chemicals we produce, acting as a giant liquid lung that regulates the temperature of the entire planet. We are more dependent on the health of these dark trenches than we ever realized. The deep is also no longer silent. The rumble of shipping lanes and the pings of sonar travel for thousands of miles through the deep sound channel. To the creatures of the abyss who see with their ears, this is a new kind of weather, a persistent, low-frequency storm. Yet, despite the noise, the rhythm of the deep persists. The whales still sing their long-distance ballads. The tectonic plates still groan. The ocean is vast enough to swallow our noise, eventually turning it back into the static of the tide. As you listen to the low hum of my voice, imagine it merging with that underwater symphony, a soft, constant vibration that carries you further and further away from the busy, loud world of the shore. We have mapped the entire surface of the moon. We have mapped the plains of Mars, but we have only mapped about 5% of the deep ocean floor in high detail. Every time a robotic explorer descends into a new trench, we find something that breaks the rules of biology. A new species of jellyfish that looks like a floating chandelier, a worm that lives in ice, a fish that has a transparent head filled with glowing fluid. The deep is the last true frontier on Earth, a place that reminds us that we do not know everything. There is still room for mystery. There is still room for ghosts. And in that mystery, there is a profound sense of peace. You don't have to have all the answers tonight. You just have to be here, in the dark, with the unknown. Imagine a city of billions. Every evening, as the sun touches the horizon, the residents of the deep ocean begin a massive upward climb. This is the dial vertical migration. Tiny zooplankton, shimmering jellyfish, and silver lanternfish rise from the darkness of the mesopelagic zone toward the surface. They are chasing the bloom of microscopic planks, the phytoplankton that only grow in the sunlight. But they cannot stay in the sun during the day, or they would be eaten by the birds and the surface fish. So they hide in the abyss by day and feast under the cover of the stars. It is the largest migration of biomass in the universe, a rhythmic, liquid pulse of life rising and falling with the rotation of the earth. You are part of that pulse. Even now, your own consciousness is drifting, rising and falling in the slow tide of sleep. If you were to look into the water during this migration, you wouldn't see a void, you would see a galaxy. The lanternfish make up nearly 65% of all deep-sea fish biomass. They have tiny pearls of light along their bellies and sides, arranged in patterns as unique as fingerprints. As they rise in their billions, they create a false bottom in the ocean. Early sonar operators during World War II were baffled. They thought they had found a new shallow seafloor, only to watch it disappear as the sun rose. It was a living floor, a carpet of light and scales moving through the water column. Think of that collective movement. 1 billion tiny hearts beating in unison, guided by nothing but the fading light and the ancient hunger of the sea. This migration isn't just about food, it is about the very breath of our planet. As these billions of creatures eat at the surface and then swim back down to the cold depths, they take the carbon they've consumed with them. They are the biological pump. They are physically pulling carbon out of the atmosphere and locking it away in the deep, cold cellar of the ocean for thousands of years. The abyss is the Earth's greatest thermostat. Every tiny shrimp, every translucent jellyfish is a gear in a machine that keeps our world from overheating. As you lie there, feel the coolness of your sheets. It is a reflection of that deep-sea chill, the planet's way of keeping us balanced. The deep is working, even while you rest. As we begin our final ascent back toward the surface of your mind, let's look one last time at the chemistry of the deep. Our blood is salty. The proportions of sodium, potassium, and chloride in your veins are remarkably similar to the chemistry of the ancient ocean. We carry the abyss inside us. We are, in a very literal sense, walking bags of seawater that learned how to stand up and breathe air. Every beat of your heart is an echo of a rhythm that began in a hydrothermal vent 4 billion years ago. You aren't just visiting the deep tonight, you are remembering it. You are returning to the source. Let the tension in your legs dissolve into the salt. You are buoyant. You are supported by an ancient liquid memory. The marine snow is still falling. Even as we speak, millions of tiny white flakes are drifting past the anglerfish, past the six-gilled shark, past the glass sponges that have been waiting for 10,000 years. It is the ultimate expression of peace. There is no wind to disturb it. There is no noise to scatter it. It is just the slow, inevitable accumulation of time. If you could see your worries as those tiny flakes, you would see how small they are in the scale of the abyss. They drift away. They settle into the silt. They become part of the earth. Let your thoughts settle now. Don't fight them, just let them fall, slowly, until they reach the soft, quiet mud of sleep.
We are rising now, past the trenches, past the plains, past the midnight zone. The pressure is easing. The water is becoming warmer, lighter, a soft indigo blue. You can feel the surface approaching, not the bright, loud surface of the day, but the quiet, starlit surface of a midnight sea. You are floating on your back. The stars are vast and silent above you. The ocean is vast and silent beneath you. You are held between two infinities, perfectly balanced, perfectly safe. Take a deep, slow breath. The descent is over. You have found the center. As we hover here, between the trenches and the surface, I want you to feel the movement of the water itself. It isn't just a stagnant pool. It is a slow, majestic river. We call it the thermohaline circulation, or the global conveyor belt. A single drop of water, chilled in the North Atlantic, sinks to the bottom and begins a journey that spans the entire globe. It crawls along the floor of the Atlantic, rounds the tip of Africa, and drifts through the Indian Ocean before finally rising again in the North Pacific. That journey, that single lap around the world, takes 1,000 years. The water surrounding you right now last saw the sunlight when knights were riding across Europe and the Maya were building cities in the jungle. The deep ocean is a cathedral of patience. It does not hurry for anyone. It simply flows, carrying the memory of the medieval world in its cold, salty heart. Beneath the silt of the abyssal plain, there is a strange, paradoxical substance, methane hydrate. It looks like ordinary white ice, but if you were to bring it to the surface and touch a match to it, it would burst into a beautiful, ghostly blue flame. It is fire ice. At these crushing pressures and freezing temperatures, the very molecules of the ocean floor act as cages, trapping methane gas into a solid crystal. There are vast fields of this frozen energy hidden in the dark, miles beneath your bed. They are the sleeping giants of the deep. They stay frozen, silent, and stable as long as the ocean remains cold and heavy. They are a reminder that even in the deepest sleep there is a hidden power, a reservoir of energy kept perfectly in check by the weight of the world. You too have that stillness, a quiet strength that comes from simply being still.
We are moving into our final 30 minutes now. The 2-hour mark is passing like a shadow. I want you to notice how far you have come from the noise of the day, the sounds of the street, the glow of your phone, the thoughts of tomorrow. They have all been dissolved by the salt. You are now in the hadal rest. This is the state where the mind mimics the deep sea. The pressure is no longer a weight, it is a blanket. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a sanctuary. In the next segments, we will look at the snow of the stars and the final absolute silence of the core. But for now, just breathe. 1,000 years for a drop of water to travel the world. You have all the time you need. There is no rush. There is only the flow. Let us drift back toward the glass sponges we met earlier. Imagine a forest made entirely of intricate woven crystal. These sponges don't just sit there, they are fiber optic masterpieces. Deep-sea sponges have been found to produce biological glass fibers that are nearly identical to the cables we use to transmit the internet across the globe. They channel the faint, ghostly flickers of bioluminescence through their bodies, creating a soft inner glow. They are living lamps in the dark. As you lie there, imagine your own nervous system as one of these glass forests, soft pulses of light moving through your limbs, calming every muscle, cooling every nerve. You are a masterpiece of biological light, glowing softly in the quiet of the night. The mud of the abyss is the ultimate archive. For every inch of silt on the floor, 10,000 years of Earth's history have been recorded. It is the world's most patient diary. If you were to core into that mud, you would find the dust of meteors that fell when the first flowers were blooming on land. You would find the ash of volcanoes that erupted before humans had language. The deep ocean forgets nothing, but it holds everything in a peaceful, pressurized grip. It turns the chaos of history into a soft, uniform layer of gray silk. Let your own history do the same tonight. Let the events of your day, your year, your life settle into the soft silt of the past. They are recorded. They are safe. They are beneath you now. You are floating above the timeline in the eternal present of the deep. The Earth is a giant magnet, and down here, miles closer to the molten iron core, that pull is a tangible thing. Many creatures of the deep use tiny crystals of magnetite in their brains to navigate the dark. They feel the north in their very bones. They don't need a map because the planet itself is pulling them home. You have that same compass. Even in the deepest, most dreamless sleep, your body knows the way back to the morning. It knows how to breathe, how to heal, and how to rest. You can let go of the steering wheel. The magnetism of the earth has you. It is pulling you down into the deepest, safest layers of consciousness. Trust the pull. Trust the weight. In the absolute stillness of the hadal trenches, there is a layer of sediment that doesn't come from the earth. It is cosmic dust. Every year, thousands of tons of microscopic space debris, the ancient asteroids and the tails of long-dead comets, fall through our atmosphere. Most of it is too small to see, drifting down through the clouds, through the sunlight, and finally through the miles of dark water. On the sea floor, these tiny metallic spherules settle into the ooze. Imagine it. The deepest, darkest place on our planet is carpeted with the dust of the stars. As you lie there, you are sandwiched between two heavens, the one above your roof and the one beneath the waves. You are part of a celestial sediment, a collection of atoms that have traveled across light years just to rest in the quiet of the earth. Feel that connection. You are made of the same stardust that is currently settling into the Mariana Trench. You are ancient. You are cosmic. You are home.
At this depth, we are closer than ever to the tectonic heartbeat. The Earth's crust is thin here, and you can almost hear the low subsonic groan of the plates as they slide over the mantle. It is a sound too deep for the human ear, but your body can feel it, a vibration that has been steady for 4 billion years. It is the sound of the planet making itself. It is the ultimate white noise. In the city, we hear the frantic, sharp sounds of the now, but down here, we hear the slow, heavy sounds of the always. Let that low-frequency hum wash over you. It is the planet's way of saying, I am here. I am solid. I am holding you. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. The earth has you. Think of the glass octopus, a creature so clear that you can see its digestive tract and its optic nerves. It looks like a sculpture carved from the ocean itself. In the deep, there is no reason to hide behind a mask of color or thick skin. Transparency is the ultimate defense. As you reach the final 10 minutes of our journey, let your own mind become transparent. Let the worries, the defenses, and the walls you built during the day simply turn into glass. Let the light of the stars and the calm of the abyss pass right through you. You are not a solid, heavy thing of stress. You are a clear, light thing of peace. You are as fluid as the water. You are as silent as the glass. Our 2-hour and 30-minute descent is nearing its end. We have seen the fire of the vents, the giants of the mud, and the rivers of time that flow beneath the sea. But now, I want you to forget the facts. Forget the names of the fish and the depth of the trenches. Those are just stories to keep the mind occupied while the body learns how to let go. The true lesson of the deep ocean is surrender. It is the ability to exist in the dark without fear. It is the knowledge that even when you cannot see the path, the water will carry you. You have practiced this for over 2 hours now. Your breathing is deep. Your heart is slow. You have mastered the art of the abyss. Imagine the last flicker of my voice as a single, tiny bioluminescent spark. It is glowing softly in the center of the room. And now, very slowly, it begins to dim. The water is becoming perfectly still. The marine snow has stopped falling. The currents have paused. The entire Pacific, the entire Atlantic, and all the deep trenches are hushed,
waiting for you to cross the threshold into the deepest sleep of your life. There are no more alien worlds to visit. There are no more cosmic tides to track. There is only the soft, warm weight of your own existence. You are drifting into the minimum zone of the mind, where the oxygen of thought is replaced by the pure carbon of dreams. The pressure is gone. The weight has become a cloud. I am the sleepy professor, and my watch at the observatory is ending for tonight. The deep-sea cathedral is always open, and the silence is always here for you. But for now, let the water close over your thoughts. Let the dark be your blanket. You are a child of the tides, a traveler of the trenches, and a spark of the stars. The long journey is over. The 2 hours and 30 minutes are complete. You are safe. You are loved by the earth. You are asleep. Good night, deep sea wanderer. Good night. Good night.